Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Big Apple Hockey. I, of course, am your host. Let me get it up again. I, of course, am your host, Mark Williams. And fortunately, it's going to be a very brief, very short show until Anthony gets on in about 20 minutes because holidays and such, Philk is going to be unavailable today, and Anthony is actually running late right now. Said he probably won't be here till about 4:30. Maybe he might call in. So hopefully that'll be the case. As for me, I'm actually already ready for a night of work. So can't wait for that. Nothing like a packed bar on Thanksgiving Eve, right? Awesome. A little bit of water first. Probably should get it in my face if I'm going to do that. But you know what? While we're waiting for Anthony, the big story of the week, and the funny part is that a couple weeks ago, Anthony was saying that we lean a little bit too much on the Rangers. Well, the Islanders were the A block last week, and they were going to be the A block right now because unfortunately, the Rangers only played one game, and the Islanders have got a whole lot of headlines. So I am going to take some comments also on everything as well and questions. But by the way, just a reminder that this Sunday, hopefully, if there isn't any more COVID cases, we're going to do our first ever bar meetup at Timeout in Hicksville, where we're going to do a live show at about 4:40, maybe 4:45, and then drink, talk to everybody, talk hockey. That's what we want to do. I have a bunch of merch that we're going to be doing a pool for Mika, an autographed Mika Zibanejad jersey, and I also am going to have a framed autographed Dennis Potvin jersey. Same thing. We're gonna pull that off. It's gonna be like a 25-man pool. Shots on goal plus the goals is what's going to determine the winning numbers. And also, we're going to do a 50-50 raffle, donating the charity of one of our panelists' choice. More on that in a little bit. But it's going to be a great time. And again, hopefully the Islanders get well and get healthy. Jeez. I mean, how much can a team go through? Hey, Brody. And yeah. Well, Zdeno Chara is more like the Islanders' top cone, Mike. DP, this is something I would be worried about with this game. That the Islanders are going to get up for this game, regardless of who is there. So hopefully by the time I get Anthony on, we'll get into that. But let's go with the Rangers this week. We're going to start with them. And once again, just start the ticker. And if you guys haven't been watching it, watch some of Philk's Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And you could read it on our Facebook page, which is listed below. Group page, usually trying to get them to do it on the main page too. And the other thing is I usually take some of his Good, the Bad, the Ugly videos and shorten it down to a 15-minute one with a little bit more showmanship flair in there. We'll say it like that. But as far as the Rangers went, guys, they had one game this week because same situation happened in Ottawa that's going on sort of with the New York Islanders, except Ottawa's games were postponed. And so they only got to play the Buffalo Sabres Sunday night, which shocked me when it was 6 o'clock. Also shocked me when the Islander game is at 6 o'clock too. I mean, couldn't get to 7 to not compete against the NFL at all. Smart job, NHL. But so they play the game back and forth in the second period, of course, and it culminates with Ryan Lindgren's game-winning goal with 0.4 seconds remaining. I don't know if they changed it. I mean, it was always 0.4 every single time I looked at it, but still, I mean, it's the latest game-winning goal since Brad Richards' goal with 0.1 seconds against the Arizona Coyotes, and that was wild. That was like just before New Year's in 2011, and he just threw it on net, and that's all I keep thinking about. But the Rangers improved to 11-4-3. They still have a goal differential of 0. Not a good number. But when you have 11 wins, they don't ask you how. They ask you how many. So one more goal is still better than none. Hey, Shannon, how's it going? Shannon is not feeling so confident about the Islanders tonight. Sometimes just what the doctor ordered is a bad situation like this. We're going to get more information from Anthony on a couple of guys that are going to be coming in. Like they got Anatoly Golashev that's going to be playing. I want to get more information on him. Anthony knows more about him. And AZ, you're right about this. Tonight for the fans trying to get to their new it's going to be real. Yeah, it's been a traffic mess down there. If you are going to the game, the best bet is to go west to Jamaica and then take the train back. The walk is too far if you're not because the other train station isn't done yet. So you have to walk like 4 miles in order to get there if you're doing that. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But yeah, DP, and you're right about that. That's when you get into a situation like this and you're backed into a corner where nothing else works, you need your rival. That's what you have to do. Similar situation. Let me give a different one. 1995, I believe it was. The Rangers had a long winning streak at home. I think it carried into 95 and 96. And they were beating up a lot of teams at the Garden. So what happened was they got the Islanders. The Islanders come in and end their home winning streak. I believe it was the longest in franchise history. I have to double check on that. Even longer than the 94 team. You know what, AZ, that you'd think that now, wouldn't you? But it's going to be a lot of headaches. It's also going to be a lot of college kids that ordered their first beer ever. The ones that here, I got a $2 bill right here that do this. The ooh, ooh, ooh. As I'm 4 people deep and ready to just lose my mind. I gotta just let Anthony know that I started. And I had to start because otherwise Facebook was going to cancel this. So this is already riveting television. It's the kind of silence that you only get with Mike Francesa. There we go. All right. Back to everything else. Yeah, waited 35 minutes on the Uber. Yeah. Well, you know what? The one thing I always kind of go back to is and throw it down, guys, in the comments below over here. Who exactly is the Rangers' rival? They have rivalries with plenty of teams. But if you had to say who their number one rival is it the Islanders? Because it's sort of like when multiple people hate you and you hate multiple people, you don't exactly start ranking. Like the Rangers are closer to Spider-Man as far as their rogues gallery than they are to Superman or Batman or a lot of these other ones. Because Chris, as you said it right there, maybe the Devils, but then the Devils have fallen off. Then there's then you got the Flyers. The Flyers have always been a thorn in the Rangers' side. You then have you know what, Mike? You even brought up a good one. Right now, you got players. PK Subban and Tom Wilson. They're just as much the Rangers' rivals as teams are. It had the Bruins. The Canes are a close second. I wish I could agree with you on that one, Will. But it's just I don't see it. And then you got the Capitals, who are the huge rival. You have the Penguins. I mean, the Bruins were the 70s. They started to creep on back in the recent years, but not really. Montreal is still a big rivalry. And I had an argument with a friend of mine years ago when Vancouver was in the Stanley Cup Finals. and it was because I was rooting for Boston to win, and he was like he was a Yankee fan, so he's going, "Oh, why are you rooting for Boston? You should hate Boston." Why? I'm Boston isn't my most hated rival. I mean, there's so many other ones. But yeah, Flyers hated them since the 90s. And by the way, we're gonna see. Wow. Okay. See that I didn't know. That I didn't know. I got a friend. I got a good friend of mine, huge Canes fan, goes all the way back to his Go Whale license plate, Mr. Pete Mackin, who paid me a visit at the bar the other day, but I wasn't there. Yeah. Pittsburgh is starting to become irrelevant, but watch out. Pittsburgh is coming back into the fold right now. They and the Capitals, the Capitals are there, but I think they've also dropped back just a little bit. But again, we're waiting on Anthony on this, so it's one of those things of, do you think that that is seeing your rival is going to just bring out the the competitive juices, just get them going? It doesn't matter if your lines are going to be, and I have them right here for the Islanders. They're going Anatoly Golyshev, Barzal, Richard Panik. I don't even know Panik was going to play this year, and now he's getting top line minutes. Beuvillier, Parise, and Wallstrom. So already Parise is centering, not Brock Nelson. Oops. I don't know if Parise's played a game at center in his career. Barry, hi, welcome to the show. And see, that's one thing, Shannon. I would love to ask Anthony and everybody on it, because how much does it was it just to be in that arena? I mean, we're supposed to go on a couple tours. A friend of mine is a high ranking official there, but I never got a chance to. I am definitely looking forward to seeing it. It's not like, say, for instance, when the Islanders were in the Barclays Center and the scoreboard was over the blue line, and you're just thinking, this ain't gonna end well. So yeah, Brock is out 3 to 4 weeks. That's part of all the things that, all right, I might as well just go through some of the Islanders stuff right now, because but before I do that, let's go with this. Kakko is starting to get his game together. 3 straight games with goals, and he's looked good in all 3 games. I've been singing his praises all year, and Phil and Anthony kind of been shaking their head with me, but it's true. He's looked strong with the puck. They're now starting to really come together, that second line. And yes, one of the comments up ahead was about the Chytil line. Gotta get that one right there. All right. But no, but the Chytil line with Lafreniere and Gauthier has been looking real good. And their bottom 6 is starting to come together too, which is not good news, because as Phil has said all the time, Dryden Hunt's played better than Barclay Goodrow. And I think Barclay Goodrow is just being miscast as a top line winger. But he's not played that bad. He's figuring it out. The number 1 center on the Islanders. No, fortunately, it's not going to be Brett Howden, but it is still Matthew Barzal. He's in. Them losing Brock Nelson for a while is going to hurt, and hurt bad. AZ, I'm going to say that is very true with a lot of fans out there, but I'm not going to highlight it, just so that way I don't have to worry about other fans getting back at me. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that's, by the way, this was also well planned out, as you could tell, as I found out minutes before that I was going to be doing this alone. So but the Rangers have been looking good. Everything that they've been doing with Kakko, Lafreniere, he's been on and off. The hard part to remember is we're talking about guys that are 21 and 20 years old, and they're coming along, but they're coming along slowly. That's totally fine. Actually, if anything, that helps the Rangers. Come along slowly. Then we could start developing and move you up in the lineup. As long as they can mentally handle what their role is. Rangers going to get the Bruins and the Flyers this week, as well as the Islanders twice. They come out of that of those games looking good. That's going to be just a whole new level for them, because right now sitting at third place, and I'm not convinced on the Flyers. I'm just not convinced on the Flyers yet. But there's a lot. Nelson, the top goal scorer on the Islanders. One thing to dissect with the Islanders right now is you go Brock Nelson, then Oliver Wahlstrom, who is in the lineup tonight, and Lee and Barzal, I think, have 4 goals. They have 6 players with 2 goals or more, and 4 players with only 1 goal. The rest of the guys, I mean, Pajot 1 goal. Zizekas, I don't think, has any yet. They are offensively starved and badly. Compare that to the Rangers, who have 10 players with 2 goals or more, and they're not exactly a great offensive team right now. So they work together especially well in Buffalo. Yep. Eye test certainly always helps. Everything always is a stat to be interpreted. That's what you always have to do. And with this, they were able to do. You can look at the stats, but you got to see if shooting percentage is unnaturally high. That's one of Phil's things he likes to always bring up, where if somebody's got an unnaturally high shooting percentage, Colin Blackwell, for instance, last year, that's just no good. That was no good. Yep, I'll go with that. The other reason why is because analytics can be built for the regular season and the long haul, not the short haul. And that's where playoffs come into. Playoffs are about matchups. Everything can't all be about just analytics purely. That's why the A's are never going to win. And the other reason why is that if everybody's doing that, then you got to zag. But we're gonna stick with hockey. We're not gonna get too far with baseball. By the way, you know what wins in baseball? Pitching and defense. Oops, that's analytics isn't winning everything. Still think it's the dumbest thing in the world. Quality shots. See, I keep telling Phil we got to get that station started. I got to get it done before January. You know what? I don't think Gallant should be messing with the lines right now. I think their lines are solid the way they are, and don't don't mess with it. They're starting to get continuity, and when things start going wrong, then go ahead and mess with the lines a little bit. But see, we could always use a good co-host with them too. So, because that's going to be part of the business plan of getting these done and getting new channels. This is still going to be my favorite, because this is the one that started all, and this is the one that started with me just doing editing out of this room during the pandemic. So sometimes shots don't tell the story. You're right about that, Rick. But you know what? Shots are always a good indicator to me. If you're not shooting, Wayne Gretzky said it best. You don't score on 100% of the shots you don't take. You have to shoot the puck. And it's again, all stats have to be interpreted. If you're hitting 300, but they're all singles, who cares? But, and you're not walking at all. If you're taking shots and they're all from the outside, goalies just say thank you very much and move on. But it's sort of like drawing penalties. If you're not drawing penalties, chances are you're not getting in the house and driving the net, because that's when stuff like that happens. And Michael Scott said it second best. Justin, I want to agree with you on this, but unfortunately, it's a trap game to the fans. Because there's no way that Gerard Gallant's going to let them overlook their rival in their first week in their brand new building. I made this comment last week about the Islanders that their first 4 games they're just going to run on adrenaline because from UBS Arena, I mean, because you got the home opener, then you had John Tavares coming in, then you have the Rangers coming in, and then you have Sidney Crosby coming in. That's if you can't get up for those games, don't play in the NHL. It's that simple. How we doing, Granny? Brody, yeah, I'm always naturally thinking some shots, yeah. But I got Anthony coming in, hopefully in the next 5-10 minutes. This is going to be a long show today because again, I gotta work tonight. I'm all ready for work from the waist up. I'm still wearing pajama pants right now, so I like the flexibility. Riley Smith would be somebody that I think Drury might look into, but if it depends what they're going to be doing, because if Vegas is still in playoff position, I don't think they're moving Riley Smith. And I've kind of made my bold prediction that Vegas is going to slide and slide greatly, and Pete DeBoer is going to be gone because that team has issues, and also Pete DeBoer teams tend to always slide down the longer he's there. But yes, but also I'm a forward too. I think shoot the puck. Sean, what I'm doing for Thanksgiving is right now I'm just going over to one of my best friend's house, spending some time with them, and then I gotta stop by Wantall and pay a visit to some of the bartenders that are over there. That is my Thanksgiving plans. Yeah. There's a friend of mine that's actually said he doesn't think Barry Trotz is gonna finish the season. I thought he was a little bit crazy because you don't just dump Barry Trotz midseason. And secondly, that's a long way to go to dump Barry Trotz right now, even though it's Lou Lamoriello. Lou Lamoriello has the job security of every coach is sort of like a wife of Henry VIII. There's it's not all that often that guys were able to have that Thanksgiving. It's always good to make some pies and watch some hockey. Thank you, Sean. There you go. And a happy Thanksgiving too, T. Mike, you're right. Vegas has Eichel. And not for a few more months. Good thing you got him. What an awesome trade that was. It's even better that it's over. I don't even have to talk about it anymore. No, the Islanders are definitely going to get up tonight. Don't expect the Islanders to be that way though. Rangers are the rival. Rangers play it. Yeah, but you know what? If you're the Rangers tonight, you got to win the first period. They've been doing better at winning the third periods, but you got to win the first period. Gerard Gallant in the last 2 weeks, especially if not 3, has been outstanding with adjustments. So Phil has taken notice on that one. I think there are ways away from the hot seat, and I think they have built-in excuses right now. The reason why I'm saying that is because right now it's you got the 13-game win streak. Home road streak at first. The 13-game road streak. Then it was the now it's the COVID stuff. And a good question is how long and we're going to be throwing it up with Anthony when he gets on. But how long until they postpone any of these Islander games? They postpone the Ottawa games like that. The Islander games, no, we're not going to postpone them. I mean, their injuries are just piling up. But again, like Barry Trotz and Lou Lamoriello have been through situations like this. Most of them are injuries. Most of them are. There were times where I believe with the Prudential Center it opened up late, so Lou has had a team that went through that. This is all stuff that some of the guys have seen. Barry might not have seen it, but Barry's a competent coach. Probably, arguably one of the best coaches of all time. Definitely top 20, if not top 10. So it's gonna go right there. Rick, I'm gonna say this. I've been beating the drum, move Georgiev while he had any value, and that was 2 years ago. Because the internet had the rumor, and I was on the train to do it, to trade Georgiev, get back Kevin LeBanc. Now, some people have told me some of that was probably never going to happen, but still, that's just one of those things of no, you should have moved Georgiev while his stock was high. They played him last year, and he looked like a backup goalie last year. It's also Shesterkin is your guy. There, all the Georgiev people. It's just look at the Connor McDavid goal all over again. Georgiev had no idea what to do. And am I scapegoating him? Yeah. But I mean, it was a great goal, great player. Patrick Nemeth was also pretty clueless too. But Georgiev just went straight down. He just didn't even he gave him half the net. Yeah, right now you basically couldn't get a bag of pucks for Georgiev. And I mean, I'm talking used pucks, like the ones that you get after practice with a chunk missing out of it because you hit the post so many times. So wait. All right, because the list we have for Islanders and COVID were I have Bailey Lee, Ross Johnston, Adam Pelech, Andy Green, Kiefer Bellows, Zdeno Chara, and then Anthony Beuvillier with a false positive. Like that's a false positive. By the way, Anthony sent me a picture that aged me, I guess, 30 years. Ugh, I do not look good. I would show it to you guys, but man, it's not a good one. Again, it's just moments like this is why you don't want a team that's at their lowest point. And right now we're 440, hopefully getting Anthony on shortly. But I mean, you don't want a team at its lowest point, and because then they're desperate and you get a team you're underestimating. If you're the Rangers, you treat this like any other big game and you got to attack them and get him in there. All right, Anthony's pulling in right now to his driveway, so he's got a few more minutes. Because again, this is an Islander heavy show, so of course, good thing that I not only don't have Philk, but I also don't have Anthony. So Huska would have been called up, except he's on a waiver exempt. Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about losing Keith Kincaid on waivers either. Just, I mean, Tyler Wall is gonna be up soon enough in the next like year or two. There's a million other players that are on there. Georgiev traded would be a throw-in as part of a bigger trade. He's I mean, it's Georgiev isn't. If Georgiev's the answer, what the hell is the question? Is usually the saying. But no, it's definitely not the right things. He's up when he's almost. I hate to offend Alexander Georgiev like this, but he's sort of like my driver in golf. When he's going right, everything's right down the middle. When It's off its angles. It can go anywhere and end up poorly. So, and then you end up just wanting to crack yourself over the head with it. No, we're supposed to be meeting up with Stat Boy hopefully this week. Even maybe as early as Wednesday. I got to check when I have my hockey game next week too. Uh, you know what? For the most part, I will say it's me. That's definitely me. And then I'm stupid enough to make adjustments every 5 seconds to try to get there. But yeah, no, but Brody, you're right about this. Benoit Allaire, I've made this joke for the last 10 years that the Rangers' real goalie tandem was Henrik Lundqvist and Benoit Allaire. And Benoit Allaire has just been excellent at getting these goalies who are either raw or maybe just a couple tweaks off their game and then throwing them in there and then they're successful. For instance, Steve Alcat. Steve Alcat was a very good backup for the New York Rangers. Then Marty Biron. Then Cam Talbot. And Cam Talbot, oh, God. How many people in the chat really believe that Cam Talbot should have been the one the Rangers kept and somehow gotten Henrik Lundqvist to waive his brand new 7-year contract extension with a full no move clause? Anybody? Because I get that question sometimes when I talk to people at the bar. And by the way, yeah, I'll agree with that. Talbot was probably our best backup because when he was called upon to be the starter, he got better as he went along. One thing I don't like about goalies like Cam Talbot is they get too reliant on their stick. And we saw that as Ranger fans on that great assist he had to John Tavares opening up the game at the Nassau Coliseum that the Rangers won in February of 2015. And it's then you just attack them. You get them to cough up a turnover. Bang, it's in your net. So I'm actually impressed with the fact that Shesterkin has been a lot smarter with his stick than a lot of other goaltenders that are that good at stick handling are. Ronta was a good backup too. The Oilers, by the way, the Oilers killed him, but he also won 33 games one season with the Oilers. Marty Biron. Marty Biron was great in 2012, 20. I'm just using the last year of them, or 2011, 2012, 2013 season, and the 2013 beginning of the season. You know, I love Marty Biron. I remember him back when he was coming up with the Sabres. I always liked them. Yeah. Goalie assists to the other team are the worst. I mean, they're great for forwards. That's why you always kind of throw it in and anticipate where he's going to shoot that puck off. I got many goals for those days. Well, here's the thing, Chris, going to go back to that. They didn't rush Henrik back. And Henrik was 100% by the time he got in. I think he had like a bad period. I want to say it was like he let up 2 goals versus Boston or something like that. And then after that, he was good the rest of that time. Mark my words, though. Cam Talbot's in net versus the Washington Capitals. The Rangers lose that series. Yep. Yeah. I mean, Talbot at least showed he could be a starter. Ronta, I always thought Ronta would get hurt too much. It just didn't really show it to me. And by the way, I'm trying to keep track of all the JT Miller rumors right now, and that is not a smart thing for Vancouver to be doing. And it's funny because if we actually do have time where we can get to the bar talk, which it's looking like it might not be the case, there's I don't know. I just don't know about that. They should fire Jim Benning right now. because here's the natural way things go, slumping teams. You fire the coach, then you fire the GM. Not often do they fire the GM first. And Sean, I agree with you on that. First, Brody, I saw your comment. I'm going to get back to that. I was one of those people that always pointed out JT Miller, just mentally speaking, in the defensive zone was always a liability for the Rangers when he was here. He's gotten better. He's gotten better, and he had a 70-point season 2 years ago. So, but like Phil just pointed out, and as well as the rest of us, he wouldn't have been this player if the Rangers didn't trade him. And then you were on a line with Steven Stamkos or Braden Point, and then you couldn't do it in Tampa. Yes, I agree with him on this. I would fire Tenordi and Nemeth into the sun. Nemeth is so much worse than I ever thought. Oh. Mike, most of the time, Valley's numbers were great against the Philadelphia Flyers and in Philadelphia specifically. However, how do you become? Well, simple. Those who can't teach. And I just don't have no idea how he wasn't that good for his career numbers. The man was 6'6". I have a picture of me next to him. He dwarfs me, and I'm only 5'8". Nope. 21 games does not make you an MVP. And the other thing is, Rick Nash was actually the Rangers MVP that year. Rick Nash scored 42 goals and carried that team. Let's see. Still waiting on Anthony to bring those groceries in. All right. Yeah, well, again, but this is what happens when you mismanage your team. And Brock Besser, how do you? Oh, Brock Besser, another USA kid that I actually cannot wait to see who the wingers are that they pick for Team USA, because it's gonna be extraordinary what they do with Team USA. All right. Oh, Ben Sherratt is who you're going with. And you know what? I hope Kakko keeps it going too. If you look at his numbers, again, all right. Well, I got a second. We're going to do this. His numbers in February were not good that year. His numbers in March were very good. So if we could just admit Cam Talbot got hot. Part of also the reason why I ended up having this animosity to Cam Talbot is because there were other times where it was clear. Month of February, 8-2, not .906 save percentage, 2.8 goals against, and he had a shutout. His March numbers that year, 8-3-1 with a 9.46 save percentage and 1.16 and one shutout. He, if I recall correctly, he even had a Vezina Trophy vote that was in there. I mean, he pulled a great month of March, but again, the Rangers didn't lose a Stanley Cup because they got rid of Cam Talbot. And Henrik Lundqvist was still your franchise. You had to get rid of him. This is what happens when you. I'm going to talk about players that are on the team right now. Come on, Anthony, can you get here? Waiting for Kakko's first hat trick. That would be great. Ben Sherratt is, I think, who you're thinking of. And if they can get Ben Sherratt, that's going to be good. I just don't know if Montreal are sellers yet. This should be. This would be epic if that could happen. Yes, Mike, hot at the right time. Yes. But And you know what? There's a lot of goalies that do that. Dominik Hasek was always motivated to always play against number one goaltenders. He hated when other teams would put in their backup against him. They just no. He kept the Rangers in. Well, the Rangers were still in playoff position the entire time to begin with. It's when I'm again, I'm analyzing this always from the full spectrum, and they came together defensively so well after that trade deadline, and even Keith Yandel played pretty well, although he was buried by AV. It wasn't. Look, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. It's just when I talk to Ranger fans, some of them just think they traded away Patrick Waugh. They wore the same number. That's as close as they got. Yes, David, that was the year that the Rangers won the President's Trophy after the Stanley Cup Finals. I remember the talk saying, "Yeah, again, Rich," and I had fans saying that to me too. And my first words were, "Don't get married," because if you're willing to dump somebody for 1 month, Henrik Lundqvist is he you might want to say he's the most overrated Ranger of all time. He's going to go down as underrated as well because for that 15 years he was basically the backbone of this franchise. And you get some fans that are still going, Mike Richter was kind of better. No, he wasn't. I love Mike Richter. I'm an American kid that watched him just play from the Olympics all the way to hoisting the Stanley Cup for the New York Rangers. Mike Richter, overall in his career, not better than Henrik Lundqvist. And again, I love Mike Richter. Yeah. I'm against. I'm against Patrick Nemeth. They got to get rid of him. Yeah, and that's what Mike. That's what I'll have to agree with. The Hank stole at least 10 to 15 games. It wasn't until his last year that, and again, Hank deserved a better ending than what he got. I'm not sure if there's an athlete that got a worse ending to their career than Henrik Lundqvist, a worse great athlete. Um, Sterling Sharp comes to mind, but you're talking about a guy that went from legend to just being discarded for by a coach and an organization. And he wasn't that bad. He wasn't the problem. Well, all right, we get the Chris's comment right here. Yeah, Eddie Jockman being released. That was bad. I mean, that's at least the Rangers' career. I mean, when you're talking about a player's entire career stopping in a moment. I mean, yeah, there's lots of other guys too, like that had career ending in Joe Theismann. But I'm talking about great career without a career ending injury. The thing with Nemeth and the position is that they have some better people in the NHL. Yeah, they do. I don't understand why we're not looking at Tomo Rionen. You want to say that he's better, or they got better guys there? Yeah, absolutely. Don Mattingly, absolutely. Don Mattingly, the back problems that it just shrunk his career. But now imagine taking Don Mattingly and throwing him on the '96 team with Tito Martinez, having him back him up the entire time, and then they release him in August, and then he's not on that World Series team. Oh, that would be horrible. Don Mattingly, who, yeah, I'm not against Niels going to the AHL, but also if he can stay up, fine. They're doing right now. The Rangers have a 0 goal differential, and they're in third place with 11 wins. Again, I think it was 11-4-3. There it is, right there. Their goal differential again is 0. That's not good. and they're going to have to get their things in order. By the way, Anthony is just getting ready right now, as I can see him in the green room, and there he is. So everybody's tired of hearing me talk, but I'm going to still set it up for you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanksgiving week, guys. It's just absolutely crazy for everyone. All three of us involved. And once again, just gonna highlight we're doing our first bar meetup on Sunday if there is going to be a game. um I do have a once again framed Dennis Potvin signed jersey and a signed Mika Zibanejad jersey that we're going to be doing pools for. But Anthony, we got to start. We got to go to the New York Islanders because they were the story of the week. Remember 2 weeks ago when you said the Islanders, fans that you were talking to, were wishing that we could talk a little bit more about the Islanders?
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about with the Islanders right now. First things first, Anthony, you went to UBS Arena. What is your thoughts on the UBS Arena?
Well, before I talk about that, I'll just being we have a lot of Ranger viewers in here. I'm just gonna throw this out there. I have season tickets. Obviously, I'm not going to tonight's game. The person on StubHub who bought my tickets yesterday, just about a half hour ago, canceled. And now I'm scrambling to sell these tickets. So anybody who wants to possibly go to the game tonight, let me know. Section 102, row 15, seats 7 and 8, down by the glass. So if any of you guys interested in going to Belmont tonight, let me know, and I will sell them to you.
There is his Twitter info right now. You can send him a message.
Yeah.
So what'd you think about it?
As far as UBS, I thought it was awesome. I thought they did a really, really good job with it. It's beautiful. Just like the detail and the work with the subway tile and the columns, and just how many bars and I should say how many bars there are. It's like every 6 feet there's a bar. Food, the bathrooms. There was still a little bit of a line, but there were so many bathrooms, unlike the old Coliseum. It was great. It was really well done. So kudos to the group that put that together. They had the vision to create it. It was absolutely awesome. So I loved it. It's definitely going to be home for sure. Unfortunately, the game didn't go that nice for the Islanders. But
that is where we're gonna have to get to on that.
Yeah, but overall, the stadium was really cool. It was a really special moment for Islander fans like myself who've been waiting. Seems like what eternity waiting for a building of our own. That
maybe going all the way back to Spano.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because let's face it, I'm 36. I would say by the time the mid 90s rolled around, it was already an issue of the Coliseum's outdated and needs to be replaced. So it seems like it was going on forever.
Well, first, I always loved talking to people about the Coliseum on Saturday or even the UBS Arena, and all of them kind of looked at me and went, "You're a Ranger fan. What do you care about it?" Well, I'm also a Long Islander, guys. I mean, my first concert I ever saw was Nassau Coliseum. That was Queensryche. I bet you half our comments, nobody knows what Queensryche is. It was the Building Empires tour. They were great. Then it was a couple Ranger Islander games, but then also I had the Town of Oyster Bay Championship of '96. That was at Nassau Coliseum. That was a hell of a time. I played games on Garden Ice, included not Garden Ice, Coliseum Ice, including the night John Tavares debuted. I had a goal and 2 assists as well at on the Coliseum Ice. So that was all a good time. And by the way, the great thing is I love that UBS is doing what the Coliseum did, and they're having men's hockey league games after that. My team is scheduled to play on the 25th of January. So I can't wait for that one. At least it's going to be midweek.
Yeah.
Anthony, we got to go with those other headlines. Islanders lost their 6th straight. I mean, Calgary and Toronto, and they're heading into tonight's showdown against the Rangers. The headline, it's Islanders injuries and COVID protocol players are just piling up. Ryan Pullock, 4 to 6 weeks, lower body injury. Brock Nelson, 2 to 4 weeks. And then you got the list of COVID players. I mean, we talked about the importance of Brock Nelson before, not just that he's their leading goal scorer, but what are they gonna do without Nelson and Pullock for the next couple weeks?
I mean, honestly, what I could say is that this season has just for a season what started with so much promise and high expectations. This has been a disastrous as a season start to a season as you can get for the Islanders. I mean, you're talking obviously there's a 13 game road trip, and then involved in that, they have a situation where they play a game, they're off for 6 days, and then they play after that they play another game, and then they're off for another 5. So the road trip, the wonky schedule with the breaks, and then you finally come home to UBS. You're one game under 500, which all things considered, a 13 game road trip, it really isn't that bad. And then from there, you're getting ready to play the first game at UBS Arena, brand new building, and then you find out that Bailey obviously had COVID before they even left Florida. But then you hear Anders Lee, their captain, he missed the conference finals. He's out because of COVID. And then Ross Johnston, I mean, he doesn't play. But then after that, it trickled down from there. Adam Pelech, Anthony Beuvillier, Andy Green, Kiefer Bellows. It's just, and now the fact that they have 7 or 8 players in COVID protocol, I don't know why the league hasn't decided to postpone this game. You want to talk about competitive advantage for the Rangers, and it's like they're playing the Bridgeport Islanders really tonight is what it is.
Yeah.
And as far as I get carried away because I'm frustrated with the COVID thing and this game being played, but as far as the injuries, yeah, I mean Ryan Pullock, that's a huge loss. I think we all know Adam Pelech's one of the best shutdown defensemen in the league. But all around, I would say Pullock's the best Islander defenseman all around, just because he provides more offense than Pelech. So there's that. And then you have the situation with Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson had 9 goals for the Islanders this season. He's really the only guy that seemed like he was scoring. As we talked about, Mark, he's also used as a matchup center. Losing him for 2 to 4 weeks is a huge issue too. So, it's a hole that they're going to struggle to plug. But Pajot is going to have to step up. Zibanejad is going to have to step up. And Barzal is going to have to start playing his game.
Now, one of the best things by the way, that's already the best thing. It's that I was talking about before was at what point should the NHL consider suspending Islander games? And I'm a little bit nervous right now, guys. Like I said, I've been getting ready for this first bar meetup and everything. And personally speaking, I don't want them suspending any games. But if you're an Islander fan right now, this has got to be their season, and you can't do that. If they're having trouble fielding a team, you got to try to help them out in some way. So, at what point do you think, Anthony, the NHL should have considered suspending this game or rescheduling?
Well, I mean, if you looked at what happened with Ottawa had 10 guys on the COVID protocol list, and that's when they finally got their next 3-4 games postponed. The Islanders right now have 7. So I don't know, is the threshold 10? Is that what it takes to get a games postponed? I don't know, but I mean, what I'll tell you this is, I think it's a bad look for the NHL. I mean, listen, I know pretty much every player in the league is vaccinated, and I know COVID is slowly becoming more manageable, but at the same time, so close to Thanksgiving. I mean, a lot of these players have kids, so I just think it's the NHL should do the right thing and postpone these games, because it has a trickle down effect on anything else. And the fact that they're playing tonight doesn't jive well with me. So I think you're getting into semantics when you're talking about 10 players and 7 players. So the difference of
And then
guys,
adding on the injuries is what hurts. If it
I mean, listen, the Sound Tigers actually had to. I just called them the Sound Tigers because they're called the Islanders now. But the Bridgeport Islanders actually had to call up two guys from Worcester of the ECHL the other day because they only had one more healthy body in that up because there's so many guys that are just they've called up to the Islanders that they're depleted too. So listen, I get that, every team you want to get the 2 points no matter what. And I'm not expecting for the Ranger players itself or even the fans to feel bad for the Islanders, but it's gonna be a cakewalk for the Rangers. I mean, you're talking their defense. I mean, the Islanders' defense right now consists of Scott Mayfield and Noah Dobson are the only two regulars in the lineup right now. I mean, Grant Hutton played his first NHL game in the home opener. He came from Miami of Ohio a couple of years ago, college defender. Robin Salo, I know he's kind of highly regarded in the Islanders system, and he led all Islander defensemen in ice time in the home opener. And the game against Toronto, he played even more, and he didn't look out of place. So he deserved to be up anyway, but still the fact that he's a young guy that got thrust into action. Sebastian Aho is really a 7th D that's been playing every night now. Thomas Hickey, who, has had problems cracking the initial lineup for the last couple of years. He's recalled. He's probably going to play tonight. Paul Ledoux, I mean, he's not going to play. He's going to probably be a healthy scratch. But this is the type of defenseman that the Islanders are working with right now. And it's just sucks because, a veteran NHL squad with talent like the Rangers, they're going to have – I want to say, yeah, they're going to have a field day with them because – they're inexperienced in a lot of ways. So
I got breaking news for you. The Islanders just reacquired Andrew Ladd. So, so hey, can I get on the ice? No, we still don't want you on the ice. But one of the guys making his NHL debut tonight is Anatoly Golyshev, and he's playing on the top line with Barzal and Richard Panik. I did not think I was gonna say those words this year. Who is Golyshev? And is this a guy that projects to be something?
So Anatoly Golyshev had been playing for Automobilis for the last couple of years in the KHL. A few years ago, he had a 19-goal season, and I believe he also had a 20-goal season in the KHL. My days before Igor Aranko, I don't know if you're familiar with him, Mark. He came on me and Phil's show. He was like the Bob McKenzie of the KHL, but a year or two ago, he actually stepped into the management side. He landed like an assistant GM job with I forget what team it was, but after that happened, I kind of stopped talking to him. But while he was just a reporter, I talked to him about a lot of Russian prospects, and he said Golyshev is kind of like a poor man's Brad Marchand in the sense that he could score and he's a shit disturber. He mixes it up. He gets under the other team's skin, and he's 26 years old. He's not a prospect. He decided to stay in the KHL for a while, but he's a guy that projects, I would say, at the NHL level to be a third line player who could score, 15 to 20 goals. And like I said, really kind of throw hits out there and get under the opponent's skin. So I'm excited to see him play. Barry Trotz had high remarks for him at the end of the preseason. He said that, for someone who doesn't really know the language, he has the most attention to detail that he's ever seen in a training camp before. And he also said that his motor was always going. He was always the hardest working player in camp. So when you combine that with his skill set, I think you have the makings of, a guy who could be a pretty decent NHL player. So I'm glad that he's up, and hopefully, he could add something to the Islanders game tonight, give him a little jam.
Well, because looking at the lineup card right now, because I have the projected lineup right here, Zach Parise is slated as the second line center. That's not a role Zach Parise has played a lot.
No, he's predominantly a wing, and I've been out and stuff, so curious, why is Pajot the third line center then?
Pajot's third line center, Andreoff and Palmieri. So he's trying to keep the lines together.
All right.
But one reason, again, the reason I'll try to give all Islander fans hope on this is Barry Trotz. The guy knows how to navigate through things like this. He's probably going to throw Sorokin in net and then play fully defensive and hope everything comes out that way. Win a game 1-0.
I'm thinking Varlamov plays only because you Ranger fans know this well. He shut the Rangers out 3 times last season?
4.
4 times.
Yeah.
Barry Trotz in the past has said that past performances is something he looks at when determining which goalie to start. So I'll be absolutely floored if Ilya Sorokin is in goal tonight. I think it's definitely going to be Semyon Varlamov based on his past performances against the Rangers. Although so far this season Varlamov has struggled. He's winless, and his save percentage in GAA is not where it's typical for him. But yeah, I think it's going to be Varlamov, and I think the Islanders are going to have to play a tight as defensive game as they have all year because they don't have the horses in the lineup that they normally would. So I guess, and I've been pretty negative. If I'm going to go glass half full here, um, I guess you could go with they still have Barzal, they still have Beuvillier, um, Pajot, Cizikas, so they're still pretty strong down the middle with
And the
Barzal.
identity line.
But yeah, with Barzal, Pajot, and Cizikas, those are 3 pretty good centers. But they need. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. I mean, you're talking. It would be like the Rangers not having Lindgren and Fox in the lineup. No Pelech and Pullock. Um, it's it has the potential to be ugly. But on the flip side, thank you, AZ. Um, maybe this is the type of game that could set the Islanders on the right path. I mean, playing with depleted lineup, if they can manage to get a win tonight, maybe that's what gets them going. No, I'm not gonna use the word save the season because it's still it's way too early. But I think a win tonight would go a long way with maybe getting some good feelings back in that locker room and
Thank you, Izzy.
and then reset after that, saying, "Oh, we just beat our rivals," with the depleted lineup, and maybe after Thanksgiving, who knows, maybe Lee and a couple of the guys maybe come out of COVID protocol, and then they can really get going. But
you know what? I can't help but ask this question, Anthony. And I know you said it's not that good. It's too early to say that they're going to save the season, but are they playing? Well, no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Are the Rain? Well, I'll ask that one too. Are the Rangers the team to get well against? They're going to get motivated. They're not exactly firing on all cylinders, but they're still a pretty good team. They're in third place right now, but it's still your rival. They're gonna have their energy up, but can they at least sustain that? I don't know if they're the right things, but I only get to the right question, which was, are the Islanders playing for their season right now? Because if they lose the next 4, you're looking more at lottery than you're looking at possibly contending for a Stanley Cup,
yeah, I mean, losing the next 4 would be almost insurmountable.
which would be Rangers. Sorry, Rangers, Penguins,
Penguins, Flyers,
Flyers, Rangers.
yeah,
Rangers,
all
Flyers.
all divisional matchups. I mean, look, I think I think there's 7, maybe 7 point. I don't know if it changed after last night, but 7 points out of a wild card spot. Which I mean, it sounds like a lot, but being how it is so early, you win 3 out of 4. You kind of make up 6 points there,
8 points,
depending.
by the way.
8 points. So 8 points behind a wild card spot. Like I said, you win 3 in a row. That's 6 points, depending what some of the other teams do. At the very least, you're back in it. So, no, they definitely need to go on a little bit of a streak here. But I would say they're playing for. Yeah, I guess you could say they are playing for their season right now because I think if they fall behind anymore, even a wild card spot's going to be daunting. I think to finish first, second, and third in the Metro, I mean that ship has almost sailed, but I still think a wild card spot is very much in play for them just because of who they really are. Because how they're playing right now isn't who they really are.
No,
So
and they're not, and they still got personnel decisions and a slew of other things that they got to get right, and like getting their power play right. Having everyone on COVID is not going to be there, but who knows? Maybe Golshev is somebody that can kickstart this team. be a spark plug, and just somebody to fill in roles that the Islanders need when they're going to be at full strength, hopefully sooner than later. And I, for one, I hope they don't end up having to cancel games. So I'll say it like
Well,
that.
Lou Lamoriello said that just before there were no more positive tests, but they're still waiting some results of the pregame test. So they recalled Otto Koivula from Bridgeport as well. So he's up here as well in case another player pops up as positive before game time. But it's just comical at this point. It really is.
Brody, that's 100% correct. The Islanders are in the Metro. Every team is playing for this season from day one.
And you know what's really ridiculous if you think about it. I don't know, but Josh Bailey has been stuck in Florida since the Islanders were last there. He had the quarantine there. He wasn't allowed to come. He's not allowed to come home until Friday, which is ridiculous. You're telling me without his family, nonetheless, he's got to sit in a hotel room by himself, twiddling his thumbs, quarantined
on Thanksgiving weekend.
They couldn't bring him. You know, I was talking to someone who I'm connected with, and they said that Lou tried to get him home on a private jet, and the league wouldn't allow it. They said he had to stay in Florida in quarantine, which is absolutely ridiculous, especially for a guy who's vaccinated. So I feel for him. That's a really, especially as kids, that's a shitty situation.
Yeah, that's a terrible situation, and that's where you almost should have just hired somebody just to drive him up. So,
yeah.
But again, I've talked about these protocols that they're a little bit over the top, and I just not a little bit. They really are, but. So like I said, we're gonna do a quick show today, guys. We are gonna move on from this. What do you think about the Islanders? Are they playing for this season right now, or are the injuries piling it up, or should the NHL have suspended these games? And by the way, there was a chance that they could not only have suspended or rescheduled all these games, because there might be a few open weeks in February coming. We'll talk about more of that in a minute. But we're gonna try to motor through this. So here we go. We're gonna go to Bar Talk. Wait, hold on. Now we're gonna go to Bar Talk.
I'm gonna take a shot on this one.
I'm gonna say beer. I'm buying everybody around on this. Oh my god.
I am going to look forward to, in the future, redesigning a couple of our logos, like the Big Apple hockey logo. So if anybody is a graphic artist or just an artist out there, I'm all ears on trying to fix a lot of this stuff. Once again, our first bar meetup is going to be Sunday, pending that the Islanders don't have any more COVID people. And also, by the way, on the Tuesday after that, John Fokowski will be having his birthday. So come on down, wish John a happy birthday. We could have used him here today, especially because everyone here had to listen to me for a little bit by myself. But welcome back to Big Apple Hockey Bar Talk, where we gauge our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. Are you gonna feel just somewhat confident on it? I'll just have a beer. Are you not confident on? I'll just take a shot. Are you gonna buy everybody around? There you go. And of course, since it is just me and Anthony at the moment, I actually get a chance to leave a like without covering up his face. So this is a great part about having two of us. You know what, Anthony, I'm going to start with the Islanders. Actually, you know what? We'll go with the Rangers, which is the Rangers need to keep the Lafreniere, Chytil, Gauthier line together. And you know what? I'm going to start it, and I'm going to buy everybody around on that one. The reason why is because I think you need to find chemistry with your lines right now. Dryden Hunt seems to be playing well with Reeves and Rooney, and the Gauthier line. Sometimes an injury can be a blessing in disguise because it moves a player out of the lineup, it moves another one in, or it slots somebody into a permanent spot. Hopefully you guys will get that with the Islanders with Golashev. Maybe he ends up finding a spot, maybe on that top line when everybody's all healthy. And I think that's helped Chytil because then he's driving the play. It's helped. It's helped Lafreniere. They've looked good ever since the Toronto game. They look great. So I'm going to say bye and everybody around on that one.
I'm gonna go round two. I like how Gauthier has played since he's been inserted into the lineup. I know we referenced Lafreniere had been struggling for a while, and I think maybe getting some new fresh blood playing with him can really jumpstart a player. I think Chytil's had his struggles too, but he's a skilled player. So getting a guy with speed who can move the puck, I think, is good for Lafreniere. And then also too, the only, I guess, the critique I have of this line is I wouldn't say any of those three are really sound defensively yet. That's just the one concern I have with that line. But again, Gauthier has looked good, and that could reinvigorate Lafreniere. Kakko has looked much better after really kind of looking not so good earlier in the year. But it seems to be working for them so far, and it takes a little bit of time to develop chemistry. I wouldn't keep putting the lines in a blender because I don't know if that helps any of them, especially the younger players. So definitely, I'm going to say round for sure.
That was something we were talking about earlier on. What lines do you think Gallant's going to change? And right now, I don't think he changed any lines. I think he keep them all as is. Consistency does help out. Now, the Islanders right now are an MSG plus. We all know this. That's the way it's been for practically 20 years. But the Islanders should move to SNY when their TV deal is up, Anthony.
I'm gonna go shot. And I say that because SNY is right now is really just kind of a baseball station for the Mets, pretty much. They don't really dabble too much in hockey. And yeah, I get where you come from. Is that, like, for instance, like the Mets and the Yankees are on different networks from that standpoint. Could it work for the Rangers and Islanders? Sure. But I think the MSG does a great job with the telecasts with the Islanders. I think the production crew does a really good job. And they've been on MSG for so long. I don't know if changing it now is really a good thing to do. But I will say that MSG. The one critique I have for them with the Islanders is, unlike the Rangers, like, for instance, pretty much all of the Ranger games, preseason games, are televised. With the Islanders, their preseason games aren't really televised too much unless they're playing the Rangers. A lot of times, for instance, when they play in Bridgeport, you can only watch online. Maybe if they move to SNY, maybe something like that would change. But other than that, I'm content with the Islanders on MSG. I don't have any issues with it. So I'm going to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So shot.
I'm going to go beer on this. And one reason why I would say that is because they need 100% focus. And I don't think they get that from MSG. And the Rangers barely get that. And that's not a good formula. They kind of get jerked around, especially with the Devil schedule. There's times where the Islanders are on MSG too. Right now, the Islanders are the team that's drawn more. Why is it MSG +2? I should say. It's just that doesn't really work with me. At least if you can go to if they can somehow get a better deal out of SNY, that would actually be a good thing, I think, in the end. But I'm Brody-O. Thank you very much. And yes, also thank you because we're always working on this show. So even at times where I don't even know that we are, there's sometimes where Phil just says, "Mark, I'm going on," and then I'm watching him at work scrambling to try to get things going. But yeah, and this guy right here he's been a great addition. So, Anthony, goal of the week, maybe goal of the year last year. Or last week, goal of the year. Can't even talk right now. Connor McDavid's goal versus Winnipeg is better than his goal against the Rangers. Did you see it, Anthony?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, well, we're going to replay it right now. There it is. And watch him go.
Chance for Edmonton right off the draw. Ehlers from Scheifele and Connor at 13:57 of the third. Speaking of Connor, here's McDavid. Beat him in. Shoots and scores.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And he wasn't against Patrick Nemeth and Alexander Georgiev. He was against a Vezina Trophy winner. And I mean, the Jets got a good defensive core right there. So I don't know. What do you think?
is better. I'm gonna go beer. But then again, I think this is like talking about, what's better, pizza or tacos. They're both absolutely phenomenal, and I could probably eat both of those every day and really not get sick of it. I'm gonna say that his goal against the Rangers was a little better. I know Hellebuck's a better goalie than Georgiev, but the reason why I say that is because he beat the Rangers defenders through the interior.
Mhm.
He split them and went through them like X-Lax. Whereas the goal against Winnipeg, after he beat the first guy, he beat the one Winnipeg defender wide to the right side. So it was kind of just like he only embarrassed the defender on that side. He didn't cut through the middle and go through all of them. If you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
So for that reason, I think the goal against the Rangers is better. But again, he's he's absolutely incredible. And I think for my money, those are both 1 and 2. He owns goal of the year 1 and goal of the year number 2.
I know. You know what? You actually talked me down to a beer. I was going to buy everybody around on this. So here we go. And the reason why, same thing you just outlined. It's just, and he is just so good. And they can't catch him. He's so fast. It's just unbelievable. All right. It's time to recognize Calgary as a good NHL team in 2021.
Yeah, I'm buying everyone around. Jacob Markstrom has 5 shutouts. I got to see him up close in person at the home opener for the Islanders, and guy's tremendous. I don't think you realize how big he is. He's a big boy, and for a big man, he does move quick, takes up a lot of nets. So they got a really good goaltender in between the pipes. Mangiapane's kind of having a breakout party. I mean, the guy's been phenomenal. He's getting some talk about should he make Team Canada. And then you have the norm: Gaudreau, Monahan, Lindholm. They're all solid. Their defense, when you look at their defense on paper, you think it's a little, left to be desired there with Tanev and Valimaki and Shillington, Hannafin. But there's some of the parts back there, and they've been getting the job done. And I think that come deadline time, I think they're going to tinker with their roster and add a couple pieces and become even stronger. But yeah, I absolutely think they're a really good team.
Yeah, I'm going to join you on that one. And it's not just what they did to the Rangers and what they did to the Islanders, but they look like a Daryl Sutter coach team, and they look very much like they're in control for that to go far in the playoffs. It's amazing. We were talking about them at the beginning of the year as not making the playoffs and not being a very good team, and instead they're going. They look real good, and I'm having trouble not seeing them being a team that's going to be really successful, and especially seeing Jacob Markstrom nominated for a Vezina Trophy. And this was a guy that I had him in fantasy last year. I'm not sure if he could have stopped the beach ball, but they're good. They're a solid team. Moving on, the Canucks need to fire Jim Benning right now. I said this earlier, and I'm going to buy everybody around on this one because Jim Benning. Do you know what this is right now, Ant? This is where Peter Chiarelli was able to re-sign Mikko Koskinen to a contract, and then they fired him the next day.
Yeah,
you need to stop Jim Benning from making decisions. And the first decision he should not be able to make is whether or not to fire Travis Green. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think Travis Green has done a good job in Vancouver with what he was given. And this team, I mean, they were building. They said the rebuild was over. It wasn't. Keep Green, fire the GM. Go to you.
I'm gonna go beer. I think they give him one more year personally. They do have a lot of talent on the roster when you look at it. Horvat, Pettersson, Hughes. Then JT Miller's phenomenal. Thatcher Demko is a really good goalie. And then they made the additions of Connor Garland and OEL. I think OEL's is a little bit on the downshift of his career, but He hasn't looked as good as he had early in his career in Arizona, but they got good pieces there, and Benning brought them all in. So if anything, I think the more biggest culprit is Travis Green rather than Jim Benning. I think that Travis Green would go before Benning, just because Benning has given him good pieces, and he hasn't really done much with it so far this year. So
Wow.
I'm gonna say Benning should get another year, and I think if anybody is on the hot seat or needs to be fired in terms of coaches, I think Travis Green could be the next guy to go.
Shannon, by the way, thank you very much. Going to get ready to go out and watch the game. Yes. Hopefully I'll be able to watch the game, and hopefully the rush doesn't hit until 11 o'clock when that happens. I think the answer for Anthony is yes, he is right now.
Yes.
And Rich, thank you. This is the way, unfortunately. Well, for ATR, it evolved from this, so it's blossoming. It'll all still get a lot better. Which brings me to a topic we were talking about earlier. The NHL needs to pull out of the Olympics.
Well, I want to see them go to the Olympics. I think Olympic hockey is really great. I think as hockey fans, we could all say how fun it is to watch. I mean, go back to that Parise tying goal against Canada.
Ooh, yeah.
That was a phenomenal moment. So I want to see it happen, but I mean, listen. Granted, again, COVID isn't as big of a problem as it was a year ago. So I think in that aspect, I see why that they put the plan in place to go, because things are a little bit better, and also the players have a strong desire to go to the Olympics. But with what you saw happen with Ottawa, with getting some games postponed, and then what's going on with the Islanders, it seems like they're going to play, but we already discussed that. That just pisses me off. But the thing is, if they do have to cancel more games, where are they going to put it if they still go to the Olympics? Because they have that time set aside for the Olympic break, and that's where it becomes a problem. And that's why there's some talk about whether or not they should be, pulled from going to the Olympics. So, I mean, I do struggle with this one. I'm gonna say beer, because I really still want to see it happen, but I think they're going to be on that fine line where, if there are any more teams that have some sort of a COVID outbreak and have to postpone more games, they might have no choice but to pull out.
I'm gonna go with beer. And I'm gonna use the other animation we have for this. I got to tell you, Anthony, it's getting closer to being buying everybody around on this. If what you just told me is they were having issue with Florida's quarantine rules and the COVID protocol that's here, you mean to tell me they're going to have no issues with China? And the 3-week quarantine, they've already talked about that. If somebody ends up tested positive, they got to spend 3 weeks in China. And then let's say it's the last day of the games. Then they got to fly back after 3 weeks. Let's say that's Connor McDavid and Edmonton's pushed to make a playoff spot. You just lost the month of March. What are we doing? So if there wasn't a COVID protocol, I would have said no. And it just, there you go. 3 weeks with no hockey. Yeah. Kicking the nuts by Bettman in the suits. Yeah. And yeah. You know what? I love NHL Olympic hockey, and they did cash in on 2010. It's just that it didn't relay as well. But the ratings have been up for NHL hockey right now because ESPN's strategy is market the stars. Doesn't matter what the teams are. So that's where the good thing is. Anthony, before we finish the bar talk, that's you that typed that in. Our prediction was 4-1 Rangers. I'm gonna say it's gonna be 2-1 Islanders. There you go. That's how 2-1 Islanders, or it's gonna be 4-1 Rangers. Either one are happening.
If the Islanders win, there are gonna be a lot of Ranger fans that are gonna be very just dumbfounded of what just happened. The reactions if they lose are gonna be, because let's face it, they should not lose to an Islander team that features that defense that I laid out. and is missing that many key pieces. I mean, it just shouldn't happen.
Phil has said it best. The Rangers losing this game, that's so Rangers is the best way to put it. This is tailor-made for the Rangers to lose this game.
The one thing I'll throw out there, bro, I know, is there one more Bar Talk topic?
That's the end of the Bar Talk topic.
So the one thing I'll throw out there is Shesterkin is in goal, I believe, and I don't have his numbers offhand, but I don't think he's particularly good against the Islanders in his career. I don't think his numbers are very good at all.
His numbers have not been great against the Islanders as I bring them up right now. But again, it just takes one game to snap them all into place. Career versus the Islanders, he's 0-4-1. He's allowed 18 goals, .879 save percentage, 3.62 goals against average, and that is career lows against every franchise that he's played against.
Those are 871, 879 save percentage.
Yeah, 879 is not a good save percentage.
That's ugly. That's what I'm saying. He hasn't had much success against the Islanders at all.
Right. So, but you know what? It just takes one moment. Like if you get fans that they want to turn around and say, "Oh, hey, put Lundqvist in there. We owned Lundqvist." Yeah, Henrik Lundqvist had over 30 wins against the New York Islanders. Trust me, there were plenty of times where Lundqvist owned the Islanders, and then the Islanders flipped the script on him in 2015. I think he won 2 more games against the Islanders the rest of his career.
Yeah, later in his career, the Islanders really owned him.
Yeah, and sometimes they were just good games that guys were able to capitalize on. Anthony, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. We're going to try to rush through this.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to. Sorry, guys. We're going to have to cut the Q&A today. But the NHL, as you know, we got turkeys that we're going to be eating tomorrow for most of us. I don't know. The commentator has been telling us skip the turkey lately. But so who would you say are your turkeys of the NHL season this year? I think I got the turkey of all turkeys to go in there, but go ahead.
So basically who I'm thankful for?
No. These are the ones we're making fun of.
Oh.
Yeah. No, what are you thankful for is the next segment.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you got to say the whole Arizona Coyote team.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sorry any Yotes fans out there, but it's bad. It's not good.
Yeah. I'll go. I got a couple of them. PK Subban. You got that one. And again, I can't wait till PK Subban's retired and in a broadcast booth. But stop slew footing. You can't be doing that. Tom Wilson, who is just flexing. Ooh, can't wait till Ryan Reeves knocks your teeth out. I mean, Evander Kane, what are you doing with your career? And my turkey of all turkeys that I thought about, and you know how much I love this guy, it's George Paris. Because you're letting the team, the league descend into what they shouldn't be. And come on. I mean, the Tom Wilson should have been suspended well into the playoffs. So
he should have been, yeah.
Yeah. Body slamming a guy. First, I can't body slam a guy.
No.
But yeah. All right. I guess all right. So but this segment isn't going as well as I thought, but as far as hockey goes, what are you thankful for this year?
Non-Islander. I'm gonna say thankful for Leon Draisaitl and just his skill that he brings to this game. Is it crazy of me to say that he's almost kind of underrated?
Yep.
I mean, everyone talks about Connor McDavid, but Leon Draisaitl has 36 points. He has a 4-point lead on McDavid for the Art Ross race right now. And boy, Leon Draisaitl is he's unbelievable. I mean, the guy everyone talks about McDavid and what he's on pace for, and could he reach 160 points and all that jazz. Draisaitl, why can't he get that same recognition? I mean, he could do it. And make no mistake about this, Leon Draisaitl, you take him off the Edmonton Oilers and you put him on another team, I'm gonna say he still produces close to the level that he's doing right now at Edmonton. Maybe he doesn't have 36 points. Maybe he has 30, 29. No, even still, that's a quite the ridiculous pace. And I was talking to my friend Goldberg, that me and John reference every now and then. He's a Ranger fan, and Leon Draisaitl is probably one of the few guys where you would trade your beloved Adam Fox for in a second. I think you would have to do it. You'd be quite silly not to.
If I was guaranteed the same production, then yes.
Thing about that is, I think Edmonton would say no. On the flip side, I don't think there's a player in the league that Edmonton would trade Draisaitl for. I mean, being that they already have Connor McDavid, obviously.
I was gonna joke and say, you know what?
Yeah,
it'd be Connor McDavid, but they would go, oh, we don't have to trade for him. We already got him.
Yeah. So I don't see any other player that they would move that guy for. In terms of the Islanders, thankful for John Ledecky for getting this arena that's been long talked about to finally come to fruition. I'm thankful for Big Lou because, I mean, you always got to include Big Lou. I mean, Big Lou is Big Lou. You got to be thankful for him. And maybe we should tell our viewers that I jokingly made you call him, which is
no, we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't.
No. Oh man.
So there's a funny story that goes with that, folks.
So definitely thankful for Big Lou. And I guess lastly, I'm thankful for Brock Nelson because at least Nelson's scoring goals and being productive on a thus disappointing season for the Islanders so far.
I guess I'll go with the New York Rangers first, and I'm thankful for Adam Fox showing that Long Island boys can succeed in the NHL, and also for Igor Shesterkin for saving the Rangers bacon for mostly the month of October and even into some of November. Thankful for Gerard Gallant, who's actually looked like he is a competent head coach. And even though everything's not going well, you can also look at Gerard Gallant, listen to him, and not roll your eyes and question his decisions left and right, unlike the previous head coach. But league wide, you know what? I'm glad we got hockey back, and we got hockey back in the stands and fans, and we got. There's so much more that we're getting out of this game right now, and like I love watching McDavid. I love watching. I love the current Hulu package, which is nice to see everything coming together with that and ESPN Plus. I would love to see Rich. I'd love to see Chytil score two goals tonight because I've said before I think the Rangers might need to move on from FIlip Chytil. I'm glad the way he's playing right now. I like the kid. I've liked the kid ever since I mean, hell, I remember when I had hernia surgery and I got to watch his first preseason game as a Ranger and thought this kid was going to be something special. Yeah. Better watch on the ESPN Plus app. David, yep. Brendan Smith as a fourth line winger. By the way, David, to answer a question that you had earlier, I'm thankful the New York Rangers don't have those jerseys that the Devils made. Oh my goodness. They have a jersey that says Jersey on it. I understand you're trying to say New Jersey, but I mean, they're doing, helmet, pants, hat, socks, skates. No. And yes, and I'm hoping it's a normal holiday. And I agree with you, Brody. I would love it if everything is normal. Sadly, I will not be seeing my aunt or my cousins for the second straight year. That's more precautionary reasons. It's the wiser move. I'm going to give her a call tomorrow. And jerseys. Like I had that on there where it was you saw the new Devils jerseys, Anthony?
Yeah.
Oh God. Who Didn't think that was going to happen.
Did you happen to see even worse? Did you see Team USA's jerseys? They look like soccer shirts, long sleeve soccer jerseys. It's just
Oh,
it's brutal.
no.
It's brutal. It's really bad. Really
Oh, no.
And Canada's came out too, but at least Canada's look good. Like our jerseys are really bad.
Yeah, I'm looking at these right now. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, right?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I'm going to have to put that into the feed so everyone else can see it if you
Yep.
haven't.
Show it. Show
Right.
it off.
Oh,
Let them get sick just by looking at it.
Yeah, I've got about maybe 5 more minutes left that I can stay on. But, if you haven't seen these guys, oh, yikes. This is, let's see, this is just awful. And I love Team USA's jerseys, but, they're just, this is bad. This is bad. Let's get there. I mean, always thankful for everything hockey has given us throughout the years because I love. No, it didn't save the JPEG. All right. Let's go to share screen. Let's do that. It's going to be a little bit easier and faster. So. And yeah, just hoping that we're all going to be normal again soon enough. How is it that suddenly I can't get it because I went to a different one?
So
it looks. It's just what you said. Like I looked at it. Here it is. I got it. And there we go, everybody. It's coming up right now. I just stop cam instead of share. This is, by the way, has been riveting television today. You guys are sticking with us so well. There it is. So here's the jersey. Add to stream. Look at those. That's terrible. Who designed those?
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, that's, by the way, AZ, say hi to Mickey when you go to the cigar bar. And also happy Thanksgiving to you. Those are terrible. What are they doing?
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's not good. Yeah, soccer fan did it. Oh, nice. or it's unisex. All hockey jerseys are unisex. Yeah. Oh, that's
So interesting tweet from our pal Dave Pagnotta. It was from 4 minutes ago. He wrote per sources, the Islanders have requested their upcoming games, including tonight versus the Rangers, be postponed so they can get through this. Have heard there's also been some concern from upcoming opponents. Still, as of earlier today, the NHL's told them it's game on. I mean, the thing about that is, it's 10 minutes to 6 o'clock. I mean, the doors of the arena for tonight's game open at 6. So a lot of people are already there that drove there. If the league, like, all of a sudden, I don't see how they could decide to postpone it an hour and a half before game time at this point, which, I mean, don't get me wrong. If they did, I'd be happy about it. But at the same time, why wouldn't they have just done this at 3 o'clock? To do it now, where people have already traveled there, would be incredibly inconvenient and just a bad look for the league to just do it now when they should have done it 5 hours ago.
Agreed, 100%. And if first off, I don't know if the request was in earlier today or not, but if that's the case, again, I have a stake in this personally because I've set up a night off of work, set up the whole bar meetup and everything, promoting this for the last 3 weeks. And now we're going to have to postpone that. And it's probably going to be on maybe another day where I'm working. It's just, I'm not looking forward to that in any way. And I'm ready to hear that news. I very much would like to meet everybody that's going to come on down, or even just get our crowd together. But
I just
I
again,
think they should have.
I just don't see how they could do it now at this point. Like I said, it's already almost 6 o'clock. I mean, not to repeat myself again. If it did happen, I'd be happy, but it would suck for all the people who already traveled there. I mean, at that point, it's a bad look. I mean, why couldn't they have canceled it? 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 o'clock.
If that's the Mets rainout theory, then absolutely that is atrocious. And what I mean by that is usually because tickets are refundable, parking is not. So
Yeah.
you get all the parking, and the parking right now is $35 and no tailgating over at UBS Arena.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how that's going to go over with Islander fans.
No. I mean, the NHL probably do have a number that it has to be to cancel it. Maybe it's that 10 players that the Senators have. So maybe they're telling the Islanders no dice because you only have 7. In which case is black and white. But at the same time, there should be a little bit of gray in there. It should be, situational. Like, look, yeah, we only have 7 players, but if you look at it, like, how are we going to be competitive right now with a good team? I mean,
I don't know.
I
don't know.
I just think that's frustrating by the league if it's truly just like a hard number, because I think there's things that go into it.
Well, you're supposed to have a farm team. Well, because you're treating COVID differently than you're treating injuries. And if it was a rash of injuries, you would tell the Islanders, go scratch, go make this. But COVID, somebody could test positive, have no symptoms whatsoever, and then not be able to play, or false positive like Anthony Beuvillier, who knows, he could have been the difference maker a Saturday night, and the Islanders break this losing streak. The Islanders right now, these are critical games. They lose the next 4 games. Kiss your season goodbye.
Yeah.
That's
So
how
I
close
get
it
why
is.
So I absolutely get why the Islanders are pushing for some of these games to be canceled, because it's their season can really depend on these next 4 games, and and who knows, because as of right now, a lot of these players who are in COVID protocol still haven't tested negative to come off. So it's I don't know. It's
But again, I'm not going to say all hope is lost, because lots of teams have gone through this and end up winning. Hell, the Rangers had their entire coaching staff last year get COVID. That was the best thing for them. So
yeah,
I don't think it's going to be the best thing for the Islanders. Don't get me wrong. It's not the best thing for the Islanders to lose most of your team, and especially your second line center, who's a good player and your leading scorer by a lot. Like, part of the other problem with the Islanders right now is they can't score. They have 6 players with 2 goals or more. 6. That's not a good number.
No, it's not a good number. And as much as I've praised Zach Parise for his game, because he does, I mean, he really has been great on the forecheck. He's caused a lot of turnovers and like created opportunities for the Islanders to score. But at the same time, that only goes so far. I mean, we're 15 games in now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got no goals, so he has to start scoring. That's hurting him.
David's done a great job, by the way, comparing this to a possible St. Louis Blues 2019 situation. But Jordan Binnington kind of came in, usurped Jake Allen. They fired the head coach, put in, I think that was Mike Yeo at the time. They put in a brand new coach. They're not firing Trotz. That's not happening. They already know what they got with Ilya Sorokin. And that division, the Central's pretty tough, but it's not like the Metro. The Metro is much tougher than this year than that team. So that's a great question, Brody. We've been asking that question all along. They canceled the Senators games. Why not the Islanders games? So,
and it's also not a good look for him right now is Jordan Eberle. They lost in expansion. It's got like 9 goals for the Kraken. In terms of pure skill, I mean, you could say he was right behind Barzal, and I guess if you want to say even with Nelson as one of the most skilled players on the team. And I think I think having him, like for instance, if the Kraken took Bailey and Eberle was still on the Islanders, I mean, that would have helped. And when I think about it, I get mad because I don't see why Lou wouldn't have offered Seattle. If you take Bailey instead of Eberle, we'll give you Sebastian Aho if you take Bailey over Eberle. I don't know why that type of offer wasn't put on the table, because I think everyone and their mother knows that Jordan Eberle is more skilled than Josh Bailey. He's a better shooter. He's a better skater. He's a better stick handler. The only thing that Bailey does better is defend, and I guess you could say Bailey's a better playmaker because passing is probably one of the better things he does. But I don't see why that something like that couldn't have been worked out.
They made them choose between Eberle and Bailey. They were going to choose Eberle, I think, because didn't Eberle play his junior hockey in that area?
Yeah, he's from Western Canada.
Yeah, so that would have given him somebody that's a little bit more local that can get in there. I would have tried to hold on to Jordan Eberle. It's funny because it's also like, careful what you wish for, because you got Islander fans that wanted Eberle gone, and now he's gone, and so Nick Leddy too, and those are two huge holes they have not been able to fill.
No.
So
well, the thing was with letting Eberle go, they said by letting him go, that gave them the cap room to re-sign Kyle Palmieri, which is true. But Bailey makes Eberle's making $5.5 million against the cap, and Bailey's making $5 million, or vice versa. So it's
it's like 5.8 or something like that.
So it's very close. So I don't see why the Islanders couldn't have said, all right, well, we'll give you something if you take Bailey over Eberle, because then they could have still accomplished the same thing. By Bailey going, they could have still have re-signed Kyle Palmieri.
But again, what you then have to do, and highlighting David's comment again, you then have to be a team that's playing 600 or better hockey the rest of the way. Yeah, the month of December, the Islanders could pull out of this a little bit, but they're playing a lot of games. They're an older team, and I don't exactly seeing Zdeno Chara get the fountain of youth. So, and it's just not going to happen. Guys, by the way, so thank you for sticking with us. It's 6:00 right now. I've got to get just a little food in me before I head up for my shift. And I mean, it's always great to be doing this. We wish we had the Holy Trinity all together. And a matter of fact, poor Anthony had to kind of rush in and get ready. So for today, by the way, Anthony, do you guys always set it up where it looks like there's water reflecting on the pictures of the girls behind you?
No, I noticed that before, and I can't quite understand why that's occurring, but yeah.
All right, but it is happening also in the China closet on the
left.
It is.
So, yeah.
It looks great though.
Yes.
Yeah, you just show the tone and be like, hey, look at this effect that we got.
Yeah.
But to conclude, once again, I'll let Anthony say Thanksgiving as well, but happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope one game is canceled, not two, and the Islanders are out of this, and we could see them at their full strength, and the Rangers can beat them on Sunday. So that's what would matter more to me. But if they got to cancel, I understand. So it just sucks. But Anthony, take it away.
Yeah, just want to wish you guys all happy Thanksgiving with you and your loved ones. I know last year some people gathered regardless what was going on. Some people didn't. So hopefully, for those that didn't this year, could be reunited with your families and have a great meal and a healthy, happy Thanksgiving. We appreciate each and every one of you that watch with us. It really means the world to us. I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting some of you guys this weekend if the games still take place. And lastly, when you're enjoying Thanksgiving meal with your family, just help me support my Buffalo Bills, and hopefully they squeak out a win on Thanksgiving, because boy, do they ever need one after losing to Jacksonville 2 weeks ago, and then getting their doors blown off by Indy, and all of a sudden they find New England in first place instead of them. Not good. Buffalo Bills could use some wins, so let's go Buffalo.
All right. Well, again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and we'll be watching more games on Friday, and there's going to be so much to talk about. probably going to be Sunday when Philk and Anthony and I hopefully are going to be doing a pregame show for the Rangers and the Islanders. So everybody, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you soon. And I am ready to see a lot of college kids that are just going to want me to kill myself today. So yes. All right. Thank you very much.